2019 A-Level ICT question paper is a number 4 I'm going to discuss today. Okay, so now we'll see what is question number 4. That's based on our programming knowledge. So make sure children you know your concepts properly. So in this A-Level paper is test your concept. So if you know your concepts properly, then you can answer any number of questions. So we'll see in this question how you're going to do this question number 4. Now in this question they've asked, so you are required to find the average marks of a certain number of students, and then you need to input the number of students. According to the question, it says the number of students need to be input. So that is there given as a. Then next is all these number of students, you have to input the marks. And then you have to output the average. So that's what you need to do. So if you write these things properly, you know what are the inputs, the little bit of processing need to be done, and output is also given. So this is what we call we analyze in the situation. Then we'll see how you're going to draw the flow chart. So what you do is you go to the start, you open you start the our program, and then first is you're going to have an input. What is our input? Input is n, number of students. So then to do this program, we need two variables. One variable is sum. You have to add all the marks together. So initially we'll make it as 0. And we need the I, counting variable. So counting variable value. So to count how many rounds you need to execute. Loop counting variable, we keep it as I. Now we'll see. Now in this program, you make sure now supposing is that the n value is 10. If it is n 10, so I value, if it is I value is 1, I value should be moved from 1 to 10. If it is I value is given 0, so it has to move 0 to 9 because 10 times 0 is also included. Okay, since we have given the I value is 0, so that the decisions you have to do it like this. So I am starting my loop. What is my condition? My condition n value. N is your done some work. N value should be, so we'll say the I value should be lesser than the n value. So since I've used 0, so I value should be lesser. Lesser means 9. I value should be lesser than 0. If this condition is true, if it is condition is yes, I is lesser than n, then what you do? You're going to input the student mark. Input marks. Input the student marks. Then these marks should be added to the total. All the marks should be added. So the marks what you enter, you add to the total. Sum is equivalent to sum plus marks. So marks is added to the total, or we call that is a variable we use for that, it's a sum. So first data item is done. So now we have to say now the first one is done, 0, first element is done, so you are moving the next element. So then what happened, the I value should be increment by 1. So I is equivalent to I plus 1. Okay, now we are going back to our loop. So this is repeating. Now I value is still, supposing I value is 1, then it's still lesser than the n value, you do it. So this is number of time. I is lesser than up to the I value is lesser than n, this is going to be repeat. So when the I value is lesser than the n, when the I value increase more than n, let's say n value is 10, I value is 11. Okay, so that is this condition is false. At that point, this condition becomes false. Or no. If this condition becomes false, you're coming out of the loop. Now already going out of the loop. As long as this condition is true, you are going through the loop. When it's no, you are coming out of the loop. Then what you do, you are going to calculate average. How you are going to calculate the average? AVG is equivalent to sum divided by n. Why is that? Sum is the total marks and n is the number of students. When the total marks is divided by the number of students, you are getting the average. Then what you do? You display that. Display AVG. So our task is done. So now we can stop our program. So here I am stopped my program. So this is how you should do that flowchart question. Not difficult. Think and write. Think the concept how that should be done. Then according to that, if you represent using the flowchart symbols, then your answers are going to be correct. So now we'll go to the next one. Next question, again another flowchart given. So knowledge of reading or executing the flowchart is very important. Now what here is asking, here they are asking the number output. So they are asking the output. So before you do that, so what you do is you go through this flowchart and see what are the variables used. Now you go here, you see the variable n and you see variable a. And here when you go variable x. These are the basic variables used. Now we go through that and see what would be the output if the first input n was given as 6. So the first input is this. So that is given as 6. Then what is it? A is 0. If a value is n value is lesser than 0, no, n is 6 is greater than 0. So that is false. So going to the input x. So the input x is, these are the input x. First input is 3. Now when you go here, the next statement is this. X is mod 2 is equivalent to 0. So that means x value is divided by 2 and getting the remainders. So if the x value is divisible, so you don't get the remainder. So remainder is 0. Then that is a even number. If the x value is not divisible, so you are getting 1 as a remainder. So that is odd number. So here in this section, so we are checking whether the number you enter, whether it's an even number or odd number. If it is an even number, you are going to add value to a, 1 to a. If it is not, or if it is here, you are subtracting n value. Okay. Now xa, 3 is not an even number, so not going to do anything. So then what you do, if it is no, you come here. What you do? N is subtract 1 by 1. So 6 minus 1 is 5. Then what happened? You are going to connect it to the decision again. So n is lesser than or equal to 0? Yes. Then you input x. What is the next? X is 6. And if 6 is an even number? Yes. Then what you do? You add 1 to a. Then what you do? You subtract 1 from n. So 5 minus 1 is 4. Go and check the condition again. Still the condition false. So input another x. Another x is a 4. Is it a even number? Yes. You add 1 to a. So when you add the 1 to a is 2. Subtract 1 from a, 1 from n. 4 minus 1 is 3. Go and check the condition again. N value is still greater than 0. So it's no. So input x, what is input x is 12. Is it even number? Yes. You add 1 to a, it's 3 now. But subtract 1 from n, it's 2 now. Still this condition n is lesser than or equal to 0 false. Okay, so input 1, what is it? 11. Input x is 11. Is it a even number? No. So you are going to the no part and you have to subtract the 1 from it. So here is the 1. So again going to the loop, still the condition false. You input the x, what is the x value is 9. Is it the even number? No, you're going no path. What you're doing, you subtract in the n value. N value is 0. N is lesser than or equal to 0. Lesser than or equal. Yes, it is equal to 0. So you go through the yes path. Then what you need to do? Output the A. What is the A? A value is 3. So your output is 3. So do it like this. So go through the different variables and the change of the variable. You know what is a variable. So variable is a memory location which changes its value during the program execution. So this you can see the X the variable value how it's been changed. So at the time of the program execution is stopped, the A value is 3. So that you are going to display as output. So when you go to the next question, what is the purpose of this algorithm? This purpose of this algorithm is find the even number. That's what we see the series of the numbers. We find only the even number. Count the number of even numbers of the predefined number of inputs. That's it. Okay. So we'll write to find number of even numbers in predefined number of inputs. So that's it. To find the number of even numbers in predefined number of inputs. Simple as that. So when you go to the next one, so the same program you are requested to write the Python language. Okay, so we will start by, it's better you start with the comments. So what we are finding, to find number of inputs, number of even numbers. That is our comment. So we'll start it. Input n. So n is, we use the input statement. So there when you write, give the particular message n, enter value for n. So it gives the value in a string, so that we have to convert this is to integer. So we use the int function. Then what happened? A is equivalent to 0. So as it given, you are writing. So then here the condition is checked. So if you are using the while loop, so while loop works when the condition is true. So that you can use the, you have to change the condition here. So I am using the while. So we use the while n value should be greater than 0. So opposite of that. So as long as this is true, I am going to do it. While n value is greater than 0. Is it n value is greater than 0 at this moment? Yes, you are doing it. Then what you do? You input the x. So then always now remember the x value you should enter remember that the x value you should enter remember all the statements that you should write within this condition. You have to write indented and write product add color lianon. Okay, so we'll write x is equivalent to int. You're getting the input enter value for an x. Okay, then that is done. The next is you are doing the even number. So how do you do? X mod 2, so you can say equal 0. That means it's an even number. What you do? You add a plus 1. So now if the condition true, only you are doing this a. That's why I indented and written. Then what you do? N should be n is equal to n minus 1. This is out of the if condition. So it's a part of the while condition usual statement. Even if the even number or odd number, you are going to do this. That's why I have taken from out of this condition and written here. And then this is going to do as long as this condition is true. When the condition is false, so same line, okay, you come here and you're going to print the value of print A. So that's it. So program is done. Very easily you go through this program and read the instructions. So the flowchart, converting the flowchart to the Python is not difficult. So same, but only principles that you have to know. So basic concept and the principles of the Python programming is only thing that you need to know. Other than that, everything is easier. Okay.